Dear pupils, parents and guardians, let me start by thanking you for being a part of all our remote learning platforms, particularly our television program, The Classroom in Your Home. Each feedback has been awesome. Good job, you. Our teachers have been working assiduously to bridge the learning loss during this critical period. Therefore, I am pleased to inform you that the Classroom in Your Home has been extended to accommodate the lower primary classes and a dedicated lesson to cater for our special needs pupils in line with our mandate of providing an all-inclusive and quality basic education in our dear state. This program is fully sponsored by the Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, and supported by the Lagos State Universal Basic Education Board under the COVID-19 Blended Learning Intervention Initiative. Please encourage your wards to tune in and take every advantage of this laudable program. Also remember, this pandemic is not over. Let us continue to abide by all health and safety guidelines as stipulated by the government. At Lasubeb, we are determined to leave no child behind in our quest to improve the standard of basic education in our state. Thank you.
Hello pupils, you're welcome to another wonderful edition of your favorite program, The Classroom in Your Home, a program sponsored by the Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, and packaged by the Lagos State Universal Basic Education Board, Lasubeb. It is to ensure that you are academically engaged in addition to what you are learning in school. I am Auntie Fumi, your English Studies teacher, and I have with me your wonderful teachers, the mathematician, Uncle Agbaje.
Hello, children.
That's your math teacher. And your popular teacher, Uncle Popo.
Hello, puppies.
He will be taking you through all the subjects on the general studies. And we have an active sign language interpreter in the house, Uncle Wale. Together, we are bringing the classroom into your home. Please stay tuned. Welcome to Auntie Fumi's class. In our English Studies lesson today, we'll look at direct and indirect speech. Yes, direct and indirect speech. There are times you want to tell somebody what another person said, and there are times you want to say something directly to the person you are talking to. Yes, that is the basis for direct and indirect speech. But before we go into the lesson objective, I want to appreciate as many of you as submitted your homework. Yes, you were asked to write a composition about Nigeria. Yes, you did, and I must celebrate you with a cheer. Good job, you. Now to the learning objective for this lesson. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to identify direct speech and indirect speech in any sentence. And you should be able to change speeches from direct to indirect and vice versa. Now, introduction to the lesson. So talking about a direct speech, it involves the actual words used by a speaker. The time of the speech is ignored, but the speech could have been made either today, yesterday, or even last year. That is why we say the time of the speech is ignored, but it involves the actual words used by the speaker. Well done. The speech is shown as if it is being made now. In an indirect speech, we make the speech as if it is being said or as if it is being made now. Look at this example. Kamal said, I want to eat rice. Kamal said, I want to eat rice. You're saying it exactly the way Kamal said it. Kamal said, I want to eat rice. Quotation marks are used. These are quotation marks. Quotation marks are used to show the exact words spoken by who? Spoken by Kamal. Though he could have said it a long time ago. He could have said it a long time ago, but we use quotation marks to show the exact words said by or spoken by Kamal. And what are the exact words of Kamal? I want to eat rice. Good. Now, if Yomi wants to tell his teacher what Kamal said, if Yomi wants to tell the teacher what Kamal said, Yomi will say, Kamal said that he wanted to eat rice. There are no quotation marks again because he's reporting what Kamal said. Kamal said that he wanted to eat rice. What Yomi said is what we call what? An indirect speech. Indirect speech. What Yomi said, what did Yomi say? Yomi said, Kamal said that he wanted to eat rice. Yomi reported what Kamal said. And what Yomi said is what we call what? An indirect speech. The speech is not coming directly from Kamal. It's Yomi who reported it. It's Yomi who did what? Who reported what Kamal said. That is an example of an indirect speech. What to note while changing a direct speech to an indirect speech? When you want to change a direct speech to an indirect speech, there are some things that you must note. There are some changes that will occur. So let's see what we need to note. In changing a direct speech to an indirect speech, quotation marks are removed. Also, finite verbs are changed from present to past tense. Finite verbs are changed from present to past tense. Here are some changes. Again, here are some of the changes. What the changes that occur in direct speech and the changes that you observe in an indirect speech. Now look at this. In the direct speech, you will have can. But when it's changing to an indirect speech, it will become could. Don't forget we said finite verbs will change from present to past tense. Can change to could. Shall will change to should or would. Shall change to should or would. That is when changing from direct to indirect speech. Has or have will change to had. H-A-D. Has or have will change to had when you're changing to indirect speech. Will automatically becomes would. Will becomes would. Not only that, is or am becomes was. Is or am becomes what? Was. W-A-S. Was. Was becomes were. Was becomes what? Were. We're still talking about changes that occur when changing from direct to indirect speech. I becomes he or she when we are reporting or when we are changing from direct to indirect speech or speeches. I becomes he or she. We becomes they. We change to they. Mine becomes his or hers. Mine becomes his or hers. Me automatically changes to him or her. Today becomes that day. today becomes that day. Not only that, tomorrow will become the next day or the following day. Tomorrow becomes what? The next day or the following day. Yesterday becomes the previous day or the day before. Yesterday becomes the previous day or the day before. Well done, I believe you're following me. Now we're going to look at examples of direct and indirect speech. Examples of direct and indirect speech. Look at this direct speech. Tola said, I will go to Lagos tomorrow. Tola said, I will go to Lagos tomorrow. Don't forget, this is the exact word or words of Tola. Tola said, quotation marks, I will go to Lagos tomorrow. Now, changing into an indirect speech, we'll have Tola said that she would go to Lagos the next day. Don't forget, will change to would, and tomorrow becomes the next day. Tola said, I will go to Lagos tomorrow, becomes Tola said that she, I becomes she would go to Lagos when? The next day, yes. Let's note something. If what is being reported is always true, if what you are reporting is something that is always true, then the verb in the direct speech does not change from present to past tense. If what you are reporting is something that is always true, that is constant, then you don't need to change the present tense or you change the verb from present to past tense. This is what I mean. Jide said, sun sets in the west. It is always true that sun sets in the west. So there's nothing to change from the present tense to past tense here. Actually, sun sets in the west. That is true. So the reported speech will be, Jide said that sun sets in the west. Just the way it was said by Jide. Jide said that sun sets in the west. There's nothing to change from present to past. Good. Now, we are now having our activity time. Evaluation time, activity time. Have you been attentive in the course of the lesson? Are you sure? Now is the time for us to know how attentive you have been. Now, here are your questions. You have to change these 3 sentences from direct to indirect speech. Number 1, Nigeria is in West Africa, the teacher said. Nigeria is in West Africa, the teacher said. Please change to indirect speech. Number 2, my book is on the table, said Adeola. My book is on the table, said Adeola. And number 3, Rose said, I shall go to Abuja tomorrow. You have 30 seconds to change these direct speeches to the indirect form. And your time starts now. Eyes on me. By now, you should have written the sentences in their indirect forms. Let's see how correct you are. Nigeria is in West Africa. I want to pick my pen. Nigeria is in West Africa, the teacher said. It becomes, the teacher said that Nigeria is in West Africa. You know, we said if it is always true, then there's nothing to change from the past tense to from the present tense to the past tense. So is this what you have? The teacher said that Nigeria is in West Africa. If so, please mark. You're correct. Now let's look at number 2. Adeola said that her book was on the table. You have that? Good job, you. Please mark again. And the third one, Rose said, I shall go to Abuja tomorrow. What is the answer? Rose said that she would go to Abuja the next day. Shall becomes would, and tomorrow becomes the next day. Did you get that? Another tick. That is 3 out of 3. Did you get that? Are you sure? Then you deserve to be celebrated with a chair. Good job, you. Now to our assignment, your homework. You are to change from indirect to direct speech. Change from indirect to direct speech. I believe you're writing as I am reading. Number 1, the man said that he was traveling that day. The man said that he was traveling that day. Number 2, the teacher ordered the latecomers to stay behind the gate. The teacher ordered the latecomers to stay behind the gate. And number 3, Tope said that she was hungry. Tope said that she was hungry. You have written them down, okay? Make sure you do your homework because you know that no homework, no pack off, good life magic juice. Well done. And that's it for today. We've come to the end of the English Studies lesson. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. I did too. It's time to hand you over to the mathematician for a mathematics lesson that promises to be fun. Don't forget, Auntie Fumi is always proud of you. Good job, you.
Hello children, you're welcome to this segment of the program, The Classroom in Your Home. It is mathematics time, and that means it is time to have some fun. I am Uncle Agbaje. Guess what? I have brought for you a new segment for the mathematics lesson. You're going to love it. It's called the Math-a-thon. Today, we will be looking at basic operations. What does that mean? You will find out. And it's actually something very, very easy. But as with our usual practice, we'll begin with correction to the previous homework. In the last lesson, you were asked to find 5% of 3 kilometers. And then this question. On a full charge, a mobile phone can work for 40 hours. How long would it work for on a 60% charge? So let's just get to see how that is done. So what is 5% of 3 kilometers? That is 5 over 100 of 3 kilometers, which is 3,000 meters. Now, let me get a pen here. If we allow 2 zeros to cancel 2 zeros, then we're left with 5 times 30. And 5 times 30 will give us 1,500 meters, which is the same thing as 1 kilometer and 500 meters. So 5% of 3 kilometers is 1 kilometer and 500 meters. The next one. So this question says that on a full charge, a mobile phone can work for 40 hours. So how long would it work on 60% charge? Now, if it can work for 40 hours on full charge, then on a 60% charge, it will work for 60% of the time. And so that is 60% of the full charge time, which is 60% of 40 hours. So now that will be 60 over 100 times 40 hours. Now I do not need to change this 40 hours to minutes because I have 2 zeros on top that I can use to cancel out these 2 zeros below. Okay, so let 1 0 here cancel 1 0 here. Another 0 below cancel, another 0 cancels, another 0 above. Then we have 6 times 4 in the numerator. 6 times 4 is 24. 1 times 1 is 1, which is a trivial denominator. So the phone will work for the next 24 hours if the battery charge is 60%. Did you get that right? Excellent job. I will celebrate you with a chair. Now, the first thing we're going to be doing today is that Math-a-thon segment that I talked about. And what is that about? It's a 1 minute of brain task. So you want to get your pencils and your book, because in the next slide I'm going to be showing you 10 questions, and you will have just 50 seconds to answer these 10 questions. It is the math-a-thon segment, sort of like your math marathon. Are you ready? Pens are ready? Books are ready? 50 seconds. Your time starts now. Alrighty then, 50 seconds are over. Let's see. This is just simple addition and subtraction of numbers. And these are your answers right here. 62, 34, 54, 20, 18, 33, 91, 59, 26, 55. Were you able to get all? Well, if not, the next time we meet on Math-a-thon, you should get better luck. Now to the work for today. What are the learning objectives? By the end of this lesson, you should be able to add and subtract whole numbers. Yes, that's what basic operations is all about. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. So we'll focus on addition and subtraction for today. You should be able to interpret word problems on addition and subtraction of whole numbers. And finally, you should be able to solve some real-life problems bordering on addition and subtraction of numbers. See, that is the essence of mathematics. We are not mathematicians if we cannot solve problems for the world. Okay, so let's just begin by reviewing some of the basics. Let's get started. To add or subtract whole numbers and decimals, what we do is that we arrange the digits such that numbers or digits that fall under the same place value are always under each other. So when you want to add on a digit by digit basis, you are subtracting ones from ones, or you are adding ones to ones. And then if your ones spill over to the tens, then you carry or you regroup to the tens place, and so on like that. So the most important thing is that the place values must be well arranged. You must not be adding tens to hundreds or tens to ones. Okay, so let's just review that. For example, this question says find the sum of 12,251, 634, 5,003. So in this case, the unit digit or the ones digit is 1, the ones digit here is 4, and the ones digit here is 3. So when you want to arrange, my friend, these digits have to be underneath each other like this. So the ones has to be under the ones like that, and then the tens. See, basically all you have to do is arrange the ones, every other thing will fall in place. So just identify the ones digit, put them underneath each other, and the other digits will fall in place. It will be very wrong for you to put 6 here. Okay, so then when we want to start adding, we begin from the ones place, because if we have extra, we can take it to the tens place and then carry on like that. Of course, these are things that you're familiar with. 1 plus 4 is 5, 5 plus 3 is 8. No, nothing to carry over. 5 plus 3 is 8, nothing to carry over to the next place. 2 plus 6 is 8, nothing to carry over. 2 plus 5 is 7, and then bring down the 1, because basically these empty spaces, they mean that there is nothing there. So 1 10,000 plus no 10,000 plus no 10,000, that is 1. So you just bring that down. This is a very easy one, my friend. No regrouping of any sort involved. Let's check out the next one. This one involves decimal, and this one says subtract 12.587 from 16.9, and this is where you need to be careful, my friend. Okay, there is a temptation to believe that 12.587 is bigger than 16.9, but no, the bigger number here is 16.9. okay, because if you look at the highest place values, now immediately after the decimal point you have 2, and that is where your unit digit is. Immediately after the decimal point you have 6 here, that's where your unit digit is. So check out the tens. The tens here is 1, the tens here is 1, so they are equal tens. But if you go to the ones place, the unit place, this one has 6 units and this one has 2 units. So obviously this is the bigger number. Even though this one is looking bigger, this is actually the bigger number. So when you want to subtract, put the bigger number on top, and that's 16. 0.9. Okay, but it will be very wrong for you to arrange it this way because you have not put the unit under the unit. Okay, so 9 is not the unit digit. Here the unit digit is 6 and here the unit digit is 2. So you have to make sure that the 6 and the 2 are underneath each other. So if you arrange it like this, it will be very wrong. This is the correct arrangement. So 6 and 2 have to be on the same column. Decimal points automatically will fall on the same column. Or to help yourself, you can just make sure the decimal points are on the single column. Every other number will be in their normal place value. Okay, so what do we now do? Just to help us, we can fill these empty spaces with 0. Okay, and that's why we say that zeros after the decimal point does not affect the number. So you can put zeros after a decimal number. Okay, now we can subtract. And to subtract here, let me rule a line. So I have to borrow because obviously 0 minus 7 is not possible. So I borrow 1 from here and I'm left with 8. Put it here, I'm left with 9 after I borrow 1. Then I have 10 minus 7. Then that will give us 3. Then we have 9 minus 8. That will give us 1. 8 minus 5. That will give us 3. Bring down the decimal point. 6 minus 2 is 4. And then 1 minus 1 is 0. I don't need to put that. Okay, so the final answer, my friend, is 4.313. Easy. Now I believe that you are ready for one of your own, just something to practice with before we move into actual problem solving. You are to evaluate 2,526 plus 55,361 plus 401, and then you have to find the difference between 18.72 and 21.635. Remember that difference means to subtract. You have 1 minute for this. Begin. Alrighty then, I believe that you're done because this is just basic addition and subtraction. So let's just quickly review how the process is worked out. The first one, we arrange the numbers like this, remembering to put the unit under each other. Now there is no decimal point, so we are having no problem with this one. Then adding from the unit side, we have 6 plus 1 plus 1, that will be 8. 2 plus 6 is also 8. 5 plus 3 is 8 plus 4, that is 12. So we write 2 and regroup 1. Now 1 plus 2 is 3. Okay, excuse me. So let me just put that 1 here so that you don't think it's 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 5 is, of course, 8. And then you have 5 here, which you bring down. And then you have 58,288. I believe that's what you got because this is just simple addition. Now to find the difference between these numbers, the bigger number, which one is the bigger number? Of course, it's 21.635. So that one comes on top. And then you have 18.72. This is the wrong arrangement. Always make sure that the unit digits are aligned. And the unit digit is the one before the decimal point. So here it's 1 and here it is 8. We just fill that last space with 0. And then to subtract, 5 minus 0 is 5. 3 minus 2 is 1. 6 minus 7, that's not going to be possible. So we'll go to the ones place here and borrow 1. And we're left with 0. We bring that 1 here, we now have 16. Now 16 minus 7, that should give us 9. Put the decimal point, because that must always be carried down as well. Now 0 minus 8 is not possible, so we borrow 1 from here. We're left with 1 here. Putting that 1 here, we have 10. 10 minus 8 is 2. And finally, 1 minus 1 is 0. We do not need to write that. Our final answer is 2.915. Is that what you got to? Excellent. Then you are ready for some real-life problem solving. let's begin. Application problems on addition and subtraction. There's so many problems in our society that can be solved by merely adding numbers and subtracting numbers. And by the time you see some of these problems, you get an idea of where you can really be if you know your simple addition and subtraction. It's not just that we multiply 1 plus 1, add 1 plus 1, subtract 2 from 3, and then we do it for mental exercises, the sake of doing mental exercise. No, our math add-ons will help us to sharpen our thinking skills, but what is most important is how much we're able to solve problems in the society. So you're a math pupil. You must be able to go home and solve one problem or the other in your mommy's kitchen, in your daddy's workshop. When you go shopping, you should be able to solve little problems for mom and dad. So this is where we begin application of that. Consider this problem, and this is a problem the whole world is dealing with. So the number of COVID-19 cases recorded in Lagos is, well, as at now is 19,651. That's real data. Now that of Abuja is actually 5,758 as at today. All right, so what is the combined number of cases in the two regions? Say for instance the federal government wants to deploy test kits to Lagos and Abuja, but the federal government needs to know how many cases of COVID-19 has been recorded, and then you are asked to solve that problem for the federal government. What do we do? Well, this is a simple problem of merging the number of cases in Lagos with that of Abuja and finding the total one. So that's addition. So what do? We say, okay, how many cases do we have in Lagos? 19,651. How many cases do we have in Abuja? 5,758. And like I have said earlier, it's a simple process of bringing everything all together. And when we're bringing things all together in mathematics, that means we are adding. So let's solve this problem for the federal government of Nigeria as patriotic citizens that we are. 1 plus 8 is 9. Now 5 plus 5 is 10. So we're going to write 0. We need to be careful because this is data that is going to be used. We cannot afford to make mistakes, okay? So 5 plus 5 is 10. So we write 0 and regroup 1 to the next place value. Now 1 plus 6 is 7. 7 plus 7 is 14. So I'm going to write 4 and regroup 1 to the next place value. Now 1 plus 9 is 10. And 10 plus 5 is 15. So I write 5, and of course I regroup 1. Now 1 plus 1 is 2, so we write 2 there. Now the final answer is 25,409. We've solved that problem for Nigeria. So we're going to forward that data to His Excellency, but we must not stop there. We must write out what we have gotten as our answer. We must write out our results, okay? Because you don't just want to push 25,409 and give it to Mr. President. No, you want to say, therefore, what is the number representing? The combined cases of COVID-19 in Lagos and Abuja is 25,409 as at today. Good job you? Oh, good job me as well. So this is one of the cases where we can use our knowledge of mathematics to solve real life problems. But trust me, there are millions more. But for your homework, you're going to take some of these to practice with. Copy this. You have 30 seconds. Begin. Alrighty then, we have come to the end of the mathematics lesson for today. I hope that you were able to make some meaning of it, because I was, and I enjoyed myself. It's time for General Studies lesson with Uncle Popo. Till I come your way in the next lesson, remain wonderful mathematicians. Bye now.
Hello pupils, you are welcome to General Studies class. I am Uncle Popo. Uncle Popo is here.
I am also here.
Good. We are here together.
100% attention.
100% attention is what I need you to give me in today's lesson. In our last lesson in Basic Science and Technology, we talked about the circulatory system. There we talked about the earth, the veins, capillaries, and lastly we discussed the blood, where we talked about the red blood cells, white blood cells, and the blood platelets. Red blood cells, that's the erythrocyte; white blood cells, that's leukocyte; and blood platelet, that's thrombocyte. Today we are moving on to new topic. Our topic for today is, but before that, let's look at this picture on the screen. Have you ever come across this type of land surface before? Maybe going somewhere, you saw it, or somewhere. Good, some have seen it, some have not seen this type. I want to ask, what do you think might likely cause this area or this land to be like this? Yes, some saying water, some saying flood, some saying good. Somebody even said erosion. You are very correct. That leads us to our today's topic. We want to look at erosion as a topic in basic science and technology. Before that, let's look at the learning objectives for today. What are the learning objectives? By the end of the lesson, you should be able to explain the meaning of erosion, and you should be able to state the types and causes of erosion. Erosion. What is erosion? Erosion is the gradual washing away of the topsoil by wind. By what? Wind or running water. So wind or running water is what leads away the topsoil. So let's look at what we are talking about. You have seen this picture I showed you before. This is as a result of erosion. And don't forget, in my definition, you were told that it's either caused by wind or running water or flood. Now, erosion is a major problem in the environment because it reduces useful land to eroded and poor surface. Like that kind of land I showed to you, it's not useful anymore for motor to pass or for vegetation. It's as a result of erosion. And it's a major problem because it reduces useful land to eroded and poor surface. Let's look at different types of erosion. One is, but before that, Nigeria is located in the tropics. We need to let you know that. What do we mean by tropics? We are talking about hot environment. What is tropics? Hot environment. So we have two major types of erosion. How many major types of erosion? Two, don't forget. The first one is water erosion. Say that. Water erosion. And the second one is wind erosion. Say that. Wind erosion. Water erosion and wind erosion. Now let's look at what water erosion entails. This is caused by running water. When rain falls, some parts enter the soil while some parts flow along the soil surface. We all witness that in our area. When rain falls, some parts enter the soil while some parts flow along the soil surface. Let's look at this picture here. This is effect of erosion here, and this is running water here. We shall look at what running water is called. And here the effect of erosion has made this land not useful, maybe for farming, for vehicles to pass, for even human beings to walk upon. So moving on now, let's this running water that you were shown just now is called runoff. It's called what? Runoff. Running water is called runoff. Now it carries along with it waste materials. Waste materials like what? Stones, tins, bones, snail shells, woods, and so on. That runoff, that running water will not just go like that. It carries some certain things that will affect the soil negatively, like the stones, tins, bones, snail shells, woods, and so on. And this helps to sweep off soil particles and leave pockets of holes on the land surface. That's why after that rain or that flood, you will see that surface of land will have been affected negatively. Now, let's look at the types of water erosion. We have 3 types of water erosion. We have gully erosion, we have sheet erosion, and rail erosion. These are the 3 types of water erosion. Let's look at wind erosion. Don't forget water erosion and wind erosion. We've talked about water erosion, wind erosion now. When air moves in high speed, it is called wind. Moving here is called wind. When air moves in high speed, it is called wind. Wind also causes removal of topsoil, not only water. The one very common is water, known to most of us, but wind is also causing a removal of topsoil. So wind is when air moves in high speed or moving here, that is wind. Let's look at this causes of soil erosion. What are the causes of soil erosion? 1, the first one we want to talk about is soil erosion occurs due to activities of people in the environment. Soil erosion we are talking about is majorly caused by human activities. Your own activity, my own activity together affect our surface of land. Let's look at those causes. The first one is deforestation. Say that. Deforestation, what do we mean by that? Is the cutting down of trees and clearing bushes. Cutting down of trees and clearing bushes is deforestation. You can see what I'm talking about here. This is a forest, and most of the trees here have been cut down. So that is deforestation. These are done due to why? Farming. Maybe they want to use the trees for some other purposes, maybe for building purposes and so on. So deforestation, in one word, is the removal of forests by cutting down of trees and clearing of bushes. Deforestation is one of the causes. Next one is overgrazing. Say that. Overgrazing is another cause of erosion. Allowing animals to feed too long on a particular area due to the point that all grasses and legumes are completely eaten up. Now, overgrazing of animals is another cause of soil erosion. Moving on to the next one, that is bush burning. Bush burning, that is when you set the bush on fire to destroy some of the trees or vegetation there. It's also causing soil erosion. That is bush burning. Moving on to the next one, that's soil removal. Soil what? Soil removal is another one. Activities like road repair, digging, making of ridges, and so on also affect our soil and leading to soil erosion. You can see the activity taking place here. So from this picture, you will know that this will eventually cause soil erosion because the place had been dug down, and it will really cause real erosion. Next one is a high amount of rainfall. High amount of rainfall is another cause of soil erosion. Too much of rainfall results in large quantity of water on the land surface. The runoff will possess more force to cause erosion. High amount of rainfall will leach away some parts of the soil and leading to soil erosion. Moving on to the next one, that is high wind speed. High wind speed. Like I told you before, it's not only water that is majorly the cause of soil erosion, even wind. High wind speed will leach away some soil particles, and it will cause soil erosion. Next one is shape of the soil. Shape of the soil. Smooth and level ground is good for farming purposes, but highland or slopy lands encourage water erosion. Slopy land encourages water erosion. So like you have seen in this diagram, it's very easy for wind or water to leach away the topsoil of this land surface. And next one is leaching. It is the downward movement of water through the soil, which carries nutrients along with it. Loss of nutrients leads to erosion, that is leaching. Last one now, that is flood. When river rises above its banks, it brings excess water to the land surface that leads to erosion. Like here, you can see the picture here. This is another cause of soil erosion, because soil particles will be leached away, and such surface of land may not be useful for the purpose that is meant to be, maybe for farming, maybe for other purposes. Flood is another major cause of soil erosion. Now, I have this very short video for you to watch, and it talks about soil erosion that we have discussed in today's lesson. So stay and watch.
Hello, friends. Today we'll learn about soil erosion. Erosion is the process by which the surface of the earth is worn away mainly by the action of wind, water, and glacier. Guys, too much rain leads to flood, and this flood water washes away the topsoil. This looks so harmful. Sometimes wind leads to erosion by picking up and carrying loose particles away and breaking off more particles. Also, glaciers erode the soil by slowly carving out valleys and shaping the mountains. Farming, cutting down forests, and the building of roads and cities are a few human activities that also lead to erosion.
Eyes on me. Uncle Popo is here. I believe you are still there. The video summarized what we have talked about in today's lesson. In today's lesson, we talked about types of erosion, water erosion, wind erosion, types of water erosion, gully erosion, sheet erosion, and real erosion. Causes of soil erosion, we talked about deforestation, overgrazing, bush burning, continuous cropping, flood, high amount of rainfall, high wind speed. Now it's time for evaluation. Question number 1, define erosion. Question number 2, list any 3 causes of erosion. You have just 30 seconds to do. Eyes on me. Uncle Popo is here. Now let's mark. Number 1, define erosion. Erosion is the gradual washing away of the topsoil by wind or running water. 3 causes of erosion: deforestation, overgrazing, bush burning, soil removal, high wind speed, and so on. Just 3 of those causes, you are correct. We have come to the end of today's lesson. Until next time, next lesson, Uncle Popo says, keep on studying. Bye.
My wonderful pupils, we have come to the end of another exciting edition of The Classroom in Your Home.
It has been exciting for us, and we hope that it has been exciting for you as well. Now, today is Monday, and that is why we have packs of Good Life Magic Juice.
Yeah.
Because today is Monday.
Yes.
But who are our winners for today? First on the list, we have Odusonwo Hanifat from Right Stride Montessori School in Koshofe. We also have Oluwaseunladuro Jaye from Chatland International School, Ojota, also in Koshofe.
We also have Rohana Muhammad Jamil from Al Huda Islamic Nursery and Primary School in Shomolu LGA. And
Oladejo Toluwalope Favour from Air Force Primary School, Ikeja, Eje.
You have all done well, and we are proud of you, and that is why we are going to give you a pack of Good Life Magic Juice. But for now, and from all of us here, we say,
Good job, you.
Now, you know that all you have to do is to send a message to our dedicated phone line, and we will tell you how you are going to be redeeming your prizes. The link for today's online assessment is bit.ly/Lasubeb lesson 67. Also remember that you can visit our online collection of all our online assessments at bit.ly/Lasubeb tests, where you will find all online tests from lesson 1 to lesson 67.
Taking the online assessment is based on if you have access to either your daddies, your mommies, your uncles, or your aunties' Android or smartphones. If not, there's no problem. Just send your just send your questions, your comments, and your assignments to 081-50-86-5663. Please do not call that line. SMS and WhatsApp messages only. And when you are sending your assignment, please make sure you indicate your name,
your school,
your class,
and your local government education authority, LGA. That is the only way we can identify you to be able to appraise you accordingly.
The lessons taught today and all the previous ones taught in the classroom in your home are on Lasubeb YouTube channel for you to watch at your own preferred time, or in case you missed any of the classes. Subscribe to Lasubeb YouTube channel to get notification when new videos are uploaded. The classroom in your home could be watched live on Facebook.
Yes.
Through the page showing on the screen.
Till our next lesson, where we shall meet again for another wonderful edition of the classroom in your home. Make sure you do your homework.
Wash your hands regularly.
Study hard and
Stay safe.
Lasubeb,
Leave no child behind.
This is to inform the general public that registration of children for admission into Nursery 1 and Primary 1 will commence in all public nursery and primary schools in Lagos State from Monday 21st September through to Friday 23rd October 2020. The minimum registration age for Primary 1 is 6 years. That is, only children born between 1st April 2014 and 31st March 2015 whose parents or guardians are residents in Lagos State are qualified for registration. Application for registration should be obtained from the head teachers of all public nursery and primary schools in the state. Parents and guardians should register in the school nearest to their homes. Registration is from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily. Application forms must be accompanied by 3 passport-sized photographs of the child, birth certificate of the child, evidence that parent or guardian is resident in Lagos State, that is your LASRA registration card, parent or guardian's tax clearance. Completed application form must be submitted to the head teacher of the school from where it was obtained and must reach him or her on or before Friday, 23rd October 2020. No late registration will be considered. Parents are advised not to register at more than one center. Note, registration is free. Announcer, Lagos State Universal Basic Education Board, Lasubeb.